Ah, well, happy Hot Mess Monday, you guys. This is the second week that I'm here in the hotel. So, as you can see, I have this lovely hotel couch to sit on. It's actually a trundle bed. It pops open it's pretty wide, like somebody could sleep on here. And then underneath, a big old mattress pops out. Somebody could sleep there. So, if anybody wants to come and visit, just kidding. No. But my bed's over there and my little office is over here. And here we are. And it is Monday and happy Hot Mess Monday. Let me just tell you, I had the most annoying experience in the emergency room the other day. But first, let me really quickly see if I can share over here. Oh, God, wouldn't that be great if I just did it super fast? Yeah, so some of you guys know, if you follow me well enough, that I like skating. I like it a lot. So I accidentally, well, it's not like I on purpose fell on my knee, but I tend to fall on my knee and it tends to be the same knee over and over again. I favor it, whatever. And everybody's like, oh, don't you know to throw your feet out in front and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, I've been falling on this knee since I was like as tall as my knee. Like for some reason, that's just what I fall on. And I have my wrist guards. And so basically it's like stealing second. I just go straight forward and they have like these nice little hard things. You guys can kind of see. It's pretty scraped up. They're pretty scraped up pretty bad because I've fallen on them a few times not because I'm a bad skater. I'm a great skater. It's because I'm trying new things or doing crazy stuff, but it's always the serious injuries that come from nothing. Ask anybody, ask any skater, any skateboarder, anybody that does anything that looks like it could cause a lot of injuries. The worst injuries tend to come from doing something really simple and really stupid. So the really stupid thing that I did was I went against one of my rules and I had a drink before I went skating a few weeks ago. And I don't drink and skate. Other people can drink and ride, drink and skate, drink and whatever. I can't. I just can't. I have one drink and I'm like, hello, lost center of gravity altogether. Like it's just the first thing that goes. Inhibition, center of gravity, whatever, gone. One drink. Yes, I know. Lightweight, cheap date, whatever. It's fine. I totally understand. But so one night I decided that, let's start our night off with a kombucha. And we did. And it's my favorite and whatever. So I was like, it's hot. Let's have a kombucha and then let's go skate. And everything was fine until we started skating straight. And I saw this other skater. We saw another skater come towards us and she waved high and that was it. This girl waved high and I waved high with this hand. And again, if you're a skater, skateboarder, snowboarder, anything, if you lead with your shoulder, the rest of your body tends to go with it. And I was like, hi. And I led with my shoulder and my right leg, my right hip came out with it, which is a natural thing that your body does. If you don't recognize that happening, just go check it out, put on some skates, get on a skateboard, move your shoulder. You will go to the right. Your hip will go to the right or the left or whatever, whichever direction. So I waved high. This foot went forward. Here are my skates. I'm going to show you all. Oh, this skate went out in front and went, and I went, that was it. And I landed on my knee and it was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous and it hurt really bad. But my friend was like, she had just asked me if I needed knee pads. And I was like, girl, no, I'm pro. So I was like, the hell, I'm going to tell her how much it hurts right now. I'm like, woo. So I just laid on the ground, kind of let the pain wash over me. And I could hear them talking. And the other girl was like, is she okay? And I just started kind of giggling or whatever. I'm fine. And my friend's like, yeah, I think she's fine. And then I, realized later I had like torn my yoga pants. Like that's how hard I fell. And then I got up and I'm like, if you just keep moving, it'll be fine. So I'm like, let's just keep skating. And I could feel it I could feel it just getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, that was a big fall. That was a bad one, you guys. That was a bad one. I'm like, uh-oh, I think I really did something bad to it. I think I'm going to have to at least put ice on it tonight. Okay. So fast forward, I go home. I was able to skate the rest of the night. Went back to, got home, and I was like, damn, it's still really like kind of swollen. So Moon knows. Moon's my skater buddy. Injuries tend to happen when we overthink. Dude, I was thinking absolutely nothing, Moon. I swear to you, thinking nothing. But anyway, it happened. I fell. So anyway, go home, and then I grabbed some cauliflower rice because I don't actually like it. I just bought it. I thought I would like it. Don't really like it. It's not my favorite. So I use the individual cauliflower rices as ice packs. I mean, it's kind of whatever. It just works. So I put a bag of cauliflower rice on my knee, posted a picture, and I was like, it'll be fine by the morning. It was not fine. Still wasn't fine. So for a few days, it was really bad. And then, of course, when I posted that picture, a friend from Twitter posted a picture of her patella in half. And I'm like, oh, shit. I think I might have at least popped it out and for sure maybe broken my knee. And I'm like, I am too old to have one of these knee things, right? And then I'm going through wait, what's going on with our insurance? Because we switched back, did this, did that, blah, blah, blah. So I'm on the phone. So now it's 2 weeks later. It's still kind of, I'm taking ibuprofen. I'm still kind of putting ice on it. But it says on the ibuprofen bottle, it says, if you have to take for longer than 7 days, any painkiller, consult a doctor. And I still waited another week. Now, here's where I started overthinking. This is where the overthinking came in, you guys. I started remembering every Oregon Trail. Do they teach the Oregon Trail shit in all the schools? Because I know for sure they teach it over here on the West Coast because everybody came here. So we had to learn how everybody died, these tragic deaths just to get to the beach. And we just drive there now, but it's kind of scary. Anyway, so Oregon Trail, right? So basically all these people go across and any small injury results in gangrene and maggots and they're dead on the side of the road. And they just put this stake in the ground. We're like, so long, Sue. We'll tell mom that you lived a great life right before the whole, maggots ate your knee thing, right? So I'm picturing every Oregon Trail story I've ever heard of. And I'm like, oh my God, my knee is it's still really swollen. And now it's getting warm. And that's an infection, right? Everybody knows that. Warmth is an infection. And I'm like, I have gangrene. If anything happens, maggots are going to eat my knee. Literally, this is one thing. And I'm like, calm down. Maggots are not going to eat your knee. Maybe tonight. I don't know. So then I started thinking about this one episode of Grey's Anatomy. Now, I don't still watch Grey's Anatomy. I stopped watching when they started really blowing up their faces with filler. You guys, it's okay. We get old. What are you going to do? So once they started getting filler years old, we're overfilling their faces. I'm like, I can't watch it anymore. It's so creepy. I don't know who else watches it. Jesse's hot, but now he's gone. But whatever, the rest of them, they're all still there. So I'm thinking back to this one episode of when Izzy, it was after, look, by now you all know Denny and you all know what happened to Denny. And you know that Izzy felt really guilty and should have about what happened to Denny. And every time I watch those episodes, I still cry. I'm sorry, but Denny was the perfect man. It's all good. It's okay. So anyway, so I go back to this episode where Izzy is just like, Johnny, Johnny, you know what I mean about the Oregon Trail? It's like watching the red asphalt shit when you're on the driver training classes. They're traumatizing. Don't show 7-year-olds pictures or movies of ladies being eaten up by bugs. They'll have nightmares for the rest of their lives. Oh my gosh. I have maggots in my knee. Thanks, girl. Love you too. Okay, so anyway, so Izzy is it's after Denny's. And she's guilty, because she was. It's fine, whatever. Denny trusted her. He was at the end of his rope anyway. He's like, whatever, I'll give this bitch one last chance to kind of save me. Isn't that how we are? Oh my God, I can save him. Such an all girl move, but definitely an Izzy move. So Izzy is like having this moment, right? And so there's this one character, you know how they have like the main story and then there's like this background story. So there's this background story going on where this guy comes in and he's on his cell phone the whole time because he's a busy man, and he's in construction. And at some point, something fell on his foot or something. And he's like, I don't know, just x-ray it, whatever you need to do. I'm a busy man. I'm a really busy man. So then they get to this part where like at the end of the episode, they're like, oh, dude, we're sorry to tell you, we're going to have to take your foot off. And he's like, what? He goes, it only happened. And he's like, well, if you would have been here like a month ago or 2 months ago or something like that in the story. And he was like, but I'm a busy man. I can't just go in. I can't just take a day off to go in to see the doctor. But now because he didn't take that day off, he has to like lose his foot. And this is going through my mind. I'm like, there are maggots in my knee. And I'm going to be like, it's fine. It's fine. It's been 2 weeks. But no, I'm going to go into the emergency room and they're going to be like, we're really sorry to tell you, ma'am, but we're going to have to cut your leg off. I am not joking, you guys. That's where my mind had gone. I'm like, shit, it's been 2 weeks. My knee is still like swollen and puffy and warm to the touch, warmer than the other knee, kind of out of place. I kept kind of moving stuff. Like I'm pretty sure the kneecap had popped out and I popped it back in. But then there was still that bulge that I had been putting ice on and whatever. And I was like, they're going to cut my knee off. So I go figure out our insurance. It was wrong. So I got that all taken care of. I spent an entire day taking care of that. The next day, I drop my son off at work and then I run over to the emergency room and I kind of walk in like, and they're like, oh, and they wipe down this wheelchair. They're like, here you go, sit in a wheelchair. I'm like, I don't need a wheelchair. Like I can walk. I'm like, I'd like to, spend my last few hours with my shin, with my right leg, that we're together right now because, so I'm just going to use it while I still can. They put me into the line in the triage, whatever. Let me explain triage. Triage is you get checked in and they're like, this guy's really fucked up. This guy is not so fucked up. This girl's like, we can wait. And they decide how quickly you get seen, but you have to stand in line. So there's like two separate guys, one guy, and they both have the same pain, right? I'm not disclosing anything. I didn't take any pictures, whatever, but they're both complaining about pain. And everybody, and this is like after 4th of July, I'm like, these guys just partied too hard. That's basically it. And they just spent a week of like drinking and eating and whatever. And now their kidneys are like, dying. So they're both, have the same pain. One guy's just sitting there, just dealing with it. The other guy is on the ground, like rolling around. And his girlfriend's like, can we go in front of you? And I'm like, no, my knee is gangrened and it's going to be taken off. Get in line. And he's like on the floor, just dying, right? And she's like, the doctor and the nurse, and they're like, sir, you need to get off the ground. Like literally, they made him get off the ground. They brought out a wheelchair. He sits in it. And they're like, and he's like, those guys. I mean, he's maybe 22, 23, but he's dying of whatever, right? And he's like, cannot stop telling everybody. And his girlfriend's like, oh my God, he's dying. I'm like, he's not dying, is he? So anyway, so back to me being in line. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it popped out. And they were like, oh, what did you pop it out doing? And I said, well, roller skating. And then we just got in this conversation about roller skating and how it came back and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, how am I going to skate with one foot? So I like kind of start imagining like, oh, maybe I could get a prosthetic that goes into the skate or a prosthetic that has wheels. Oh my God, I'll be like an inspirational skater. So I go from gangrene, Oregon Trail, Izzy, this all to like now I'm an inspirational skater skating with one leg. God bless me. So then I go and I stand in and I sit down and I wait and I put my foot up on the couch and I felt really bad that I had my foot up on something, but they're like, it's fine, no worries. And then the other guy's still dying and the other guy's still kind of like dealing with it. They get seen, whatever. So then finally, a nurse comes over to me and she's looking at it. She's like, let's get you some x-rays. So I go in and go take my x-rays and whatever. By the way, x-rays have been done the same way forever. And it seems completely archaic that we're still doing this thing where it's like, and wear a vest and this and that. Shouldn't we? shouldn't medical technology, it is advanced enough, but shouldn't it be available to where we all just get a body scan? We're just like scan one time, like the nice, and not where you get stuck in a freaking MRI machine going dunk, 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 dunk. We should just get scanned like on Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever and just be like, zoop, zoop. All right, we'll have your results in 10 seconds. No, whatever. So like an hour later, they're like, here are your results. Everything's fine. I'm like, bullshit. Where are the maggots? Where are the maggots? I'm like, there is no way. Everything's fine. Everything hurts. It's warm to the touch. No way. And the doctor's like, yeah, no, fine. Look at your x-rays. I'm like, I just sat here for 4 hours for you to tell me everything's fine. I'm like, well, what do I do? She's like, keep taking Tylenol or ibuprofen and put ice on it. I'm like, shut the front door. Are you kidding me? So I'm like sitting there like going, are you joking? Well, that's great. But so she's like, well, so there's like this sac. It's a bursa sac. And I'm like, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. And she's like, so when it gets inflamed, and I'm like, don't say it. Don't say it. And she says, it's bursitis. And I'm like, ah, to me, bursitis is an old people thing. Oh, God. So, like, I don't have maggots in my knee. I get to keep my leg. I'm not going to be an inspirational skater for skating with one leg, but I do have bursitis. And I have continued to ice my knee and take ibuprofen. So glad I catastrophized. If you would like to see any of my skating adventures, you can go over to Instagram.com/SugarJones and follow me there. I do post some skating videos there. So you can see I'm not a bad skater. I'm actually a decent skater. But that day I fell and I took 2 weeks off. So then so after that, I'm like, well, fine, then I can skate. So I went back out down to the pier, to the amphitheater, and without knee pads, because I don't learn, even though I'm an old lady that has bursitis in her right knee, I don't learn. And I just went and skated. And I had a blast because I was skating hard. I wasn't doing anything simple. I was like doing some tricks and spins and this and that. And that guarantees pretty much I'm not going to fall. So anyway, well, yeah, I totally, completely catastrophized. And now I know that everything's fine. I'm just curious. Have you guys, but wait. As they're handing me my little report that says no acute abnormality, in other words, fine, and to ice knee and take an NSAID, an NSAID, which is basically ibuprofen or Tylenol. And also if I want to follow up with my general practitioner to get an MRI just in case like a tendon or a ligament came out, which I'm going to do just in case. Want to make sure everything like goes back to normal because I'm old now and I don't need like shit calcified. That's the other old people thing. But as I grab my little paperwork, put it in my bag, walk out with my fine knee, my knee that's just fine, just swollen. The dude that was like on the ground, like dying, was walking out. Dude just probably had gas. I think he just needed to pass whatever was stuck in him from 4th of July. So he was fine too. Anyway, all's well that ends well. We both completely overreacted. So I'm no better than the dude that was on the ground rolling around in pain because he had gas. Alrighty then. Okay, so that was just story time. A little fun Hot Mess Monday because that was a real hot mess of a situation. But I'm already back together again and skating again. So anyway, if you want to follow me, I'm going to put the links to all my stuff down below. And if you appreciate my crazy stories, come back next Monday. Subscribe, would you? All right, I will see you guys next week. And hopefully I'll have another hot mess, crazy, stupid story to tell you then. All right. Bye, guys.